I felt for you. Oh, I regret for losing.
All right, what's up guys? Dr. M3 here. Now, it's been a few years since I did a video on the technology in the Performante. And most specifically, we're talking about CarPlay. Now, a few years ago, CarPlay allowed third-party apps such as navigation to be integrated. And I did a video on ways on why that was so important. So if you have not watched that video before, go ahead and take a look at it up here in the cards. And also, if you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and turn notification on so you can be notified whenever I post videos. So as you know, we now have a new CarPlay for iOS 14. The last time I did this video, it was iOS 12. So it's been a while. And there's some major new changes that I think are really cool. And of course, since you don't think about supercars having technology, at least certainly not on the Lamborghini side, in terms of car technology like this, I wanted to take the opportunity to kind of walk you through what CarPlay now looks like in the Huracan Performante. So what are the major new changes with CarPlay? Well, number one, you get to choose wallpapers. Now, and I'm going to show you what those look like, but the problem is you can't choose your own wallpaper. So this is still iOS 14 beta 2, developer beta 2. So who knows, that we may get that feature later, but for now there are about 6 different wallpapers that are available. Some of them actually will change depending on the time of day, lighting, and so on. So that's kind of cool, and so that's really awesome. Number 2, if you have an EV, and of course the Lamborghini Performante is not an EV, but in maps it will give you charge location. So it's actually kind of cool, a unique feature. And they've also had this new area for developers for food delivery, for charging, and for parking. So those things are coming to CarPlay, just making it more user-friendly. I think the interface is a lot better. What are the other things that I really like about it? One, again, as I mentioned in iOS 12, the mere fact that we now have Waze integration is pretty awesome. But if you are an Apple Maps person, you're also going to be really happy because they've actually updated Apple Maps quite a bit over the last 2 iOS series. Now they're going to have parking included. There is more information on traffic. There's a red light camera, kind of some of the things that Waze have, but in my view, probably not as good as Waze. So for me, at least for now, my map is still going to be, for when I'm traveling, is still probably going to be Waze. I think it's much better. It gives you an idea where the cops are, where the hazards are on the road, and where construction is, things that make you a much better driver, at least certainly more aware. So that's one of the reasons why I love CarPlay to begin with. So let me just kind of walk you through by menu. I don't want to make this video too long, but I think it's really helpful to kind of get a sense as to how things are set up. So the first thing I would do, frankly, is I would go to settings. And in settings, you can see now, obviously you're driving a car, it's CarPlay, so you have do not disturb while driving, and you can turn that on and off. You have the appearance, which frankly has the always dark or automatic. So for your wallpaper, if you put it on automatic, depending on the time of day, depending on the ambient light, it will actually change the shade or the coloring of your wallpaper. Here are the wallpapers that you have. You can see a combination here. I think I really like, for this car, I wish there was a purple, but I think I'll probably go with the blue-green because I think it has a much better sort of look, contrast for the icons that I have in this car. And so that's what's going to kind of look like. If we go back here, you have suggestions in dashboard. So the other thing that's really cool, I think, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit later, is that Siri, if you look at the old Siri, if you look at my old video, and if you look at Siri in general, she would just take over the entire screen and you would lose. So if you had navigation going and you asked her a question, you would kind of lose that view of navigation because she would just blank out. Now it becomes a really compact, really cool animation that I like. You still can't interface or interact with the screen. On the Lamborghini, it's not a touch screen, but if it were, you still can't interact with it while you have Siri going. So that's something that I think hopefully in the future Apple will change, but for now that's what you got. You can turn on suggestions in the dashboard, and you can show album art when you're in Apple Music, which is actually kind of cool. All right, so if you then go back, you can see how this is arranged. Of course, you can change the menus from the typical view here where you have all the icons for Apple CarPlay, including the Lamborghini menu, or you've got Telegram, you have Google Maps, you've got Waze, and your calendar and so on. And of course, you've got messages here as well. The cool thing that's also new with Apple CarPlay is you can also send voice messages. So not only text messages where your message is translated to text to send as a text, but you can actually send a voice message. Send a voice message to Brandon. Somebody in your contacts list, which is
Okay, recording.
Hey Brandon, we're just testing iOS 14 Developer Beta 2 voice message.
Great. Send it to Brandon.
Review. Hey Brandon, we're just testing iOS 14 Developer Beta 2 voice message.
Great. Send it to Brandon.
Yes.
Okay, it's sent.
Let me show you a couple of other things. So this is the typical view I would do in this car driving around if I weren't, interested in putting the car fully in Corsa where you can see all that's going on. And that's the difference between the Performante and the Huracan Evo. The Evo now has this center console with a screen here. So your Apple CarPlay would move from the dash into the center console, which is kind of better in some ways, because if I wanted to see the tach here while I have CarPlay, I can't really see it. But with the Evo, since we have a separate screen in the middle here, you've got that. So some really awesome changes, I think, in CarPlay. You can see Apple Music here. You have your art. There's now this infinity button at the bottom here. So if I was playing a track, as soon as that ends, CarPlay or Apple Music would find a related track and just keep playing, which is kind of cool. That wasn't the case in the old version of iOS 12 and 13's CarPlay. So I think this is a really awesome update. I like it a lot. This car is not really designed around technology like this, and so when they introduced it, it was kind of a game changer in my view, because it brought a lot of functionality that I love with Waze, for instance. But tell me what you think in the comments below. Would you put CarPlay in your exotic, or is it just like overkill? This is still wired. Ultimately, I hope Lamborghini will implement wireless CarPlay. And that's it for this video. Thanks again for watching. I appreciate it. Be sure to go ahead and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. And I will see you guys in the next video. Keep motoring. Be safe. CarPlay, iOS 14, Developer Beta 2. Take care, guys.